Music tells stories. Throughout human history, across all cultures and all times, music has been used to share adventures, warn of dangers, reminisce about people and things lost, and entertain. Sometimes there are words, and the music serves to augment the meaning and imagery of the text, but even when there aren't words, the message is no less clear. After all, music isn't just an art form, it's a language used to convey feelings and emotions, whether it's heard in a concert hall, an arena, a movie, or a video game. Let's think about that last one. What makes a video game a good game? What makes a good game a great game? A lot of times it has everything to do with the music. Video game developers have been aware of the power of music and sound from the very beginning. The earliest developers found that the arcade games that played songs and made engaging sounds made more people want to play that game, and, more importantly, keep coming back to play again and again. With the advent of in-home console systems, though, the role of music changed. It was no longer there only to fulfill the role of attracting players with quarters. After all, the video game was already purchased and in the house. No, the music was there to enhance the player's experience of the game itself. Even with the limited technology of the time, video game composers were figuring out how to heighten the playing experience 8 measures at a time. But back to our question, what makes a good game great? A good video game tells a compelling story. A great video game makes the player feel like an important character in that story. And the music cues us into how we can expect to participate in the story. Think about the very first notes of Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo Entertainment System, World 1, Level 1. Right off the bat, we know we're about to have fun. Why? Because of the jaunty, syncopated arpeggiation of a major triad. Now we as humans have a few associations already in place that this music takes advantage of. We tend to associate major keys with happy feelings, and we tend to associate syncopated rhythms with excitement. Put happiness and excitement together, and you'll have a great time. The rest of the tune goes on to confirm these feelings. Now think about World 1, Level 2. It starts off with the same jaunty, we're gonna have a good time tune, but then Mario goes down the pipe and the music changes. Now we feel a little more on edge. Maybe we feel a sense of danger, or at least caution, and this matches up with the setting. It's underground, it's dark, and there's a claustrophobic feeling because now there's a ceiling. But why do we feel these things in the music? Well, the upbeat, happy tune that introduced us has changed into a shorter 3-note tune with a lowered scale degree 7. It's not altogether minor, but it's certainly not major either. The shortened motive makes us feel the cramped, close nature of being underground, while the shift of the mode warns us that all is not as carefree as we might have thought up above ground. Nowadays, composers have far more resources at their disposal to work with, and it shows. Video game composer Scott Morton says, composers should start thinking beyond what does this level sound like to what role does this level and its characters play in the grand scheme of the game and the plot? How do I portray that with the music I write? Where do I place the music within the level to bring this across in the most effective manner? Let's consider 2 other tunes, this time from the Legend of Zelda series, with a now famous soundtrack by Koji Kondo. The first song we'll consider is the iconic Zelda's Lullaby, which appears in 13 games of the series. It makes us feel comfortable, maybe comforted, and at peace. After all, Lullaby is right there in the name. Now let's listen to the Song of Healing from Majora's Mask. This probably gives you a different feeling than Zelda's Lullaby did. Maybe you can describe it how, but maybe you can't quite put your finger on it. This melody is slightly unsettling. It's still beautiful, but it does not convey the same warmth and comfort that Zelda's Lullaby did. Why? Zelda's Lullaby is extremely tonal and clearly in a major key. It starts with a C major 7 chord, followed by a D major chord over a C pedal. The rocking back and forth between these two chords gives us that feeling of a lullaby. When we leave the C pedal, it's to descend stepwise to a B minor chord, through a B flat, to A minor 7, and ending finally on D major, which serves as the dominant in our home key of G major. These final few chords, B minor, A minor, and D major, set up a relatively familiar progression in Western music that adds to our sense of comfort and familiarity when we hear the song. The Song of Healing, on the other hand, misdirects our ears right off the bat. The first 3 notes don't outline a clear chord. In fact, the first and third notes are a tritone apart, the least consonant interval in the scale. It could imply a minor chord with a 6-5 neighbor, or a major chord with a 4-3 neighbor, or even a half-diminished 7th chord, and this lack of clarity contributes to the unsettling nature of it. It turns out to be a major chord, but the actual key is never fully revealed. These harmonies seem to meander, and they even shift modes, like they're searching for a home key that they can never quite find. This supports the role of the song in the game, which is played to help characters who have experienced great loss or grief. It's not comforting in the same way Zelda's Lullaby is, but it shouldn't be either. Anybody who has experienced grief knows that while you may move beyond the immediate loss, there is a sense of discomfort that lingers for a much longer time. Koji Kondo brilliantly captures the inherent nature of these two melodies in the way he crafted the music. We may not understand why we feel the way we do when we hear them, but they definitely evoke different emotional responses. On this channel, I will dive deeper into the music that makes good games great, and try to explain exactly what about the music makes us feel the way that we do when we hear it. I may also include some uploads of me just playing some of my favorite games as well, but mostly I'll be focusing on the music. So what music in a video game has moved you, or made you feel or respond a particular way? Leave a message in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.